I'm Bob Verdi. I work for the Blackhawks, and I'm very boring. But to make up for that, who's the most exciting player in the National Hockey League? I have a commercial to read here. If you would like to ask a question pertaining to this session, please visit the question booth against either wall, fill out a card, and the last 15 minutes of today's session will be dedicated to questions for Patrick. I just want to remind you of one thing. Patrick's been around here for a while. He's still 30. Fifth all-time Blackhawks in goals. .356. Third all-time Blackhawks in assists. .582. Fourth all-time Blackhawks in points. .938. Remember, he's still 30. Fourth all-time Blackhawks in game-winning goals, 60. First all-time Blackhawks game-winning playoff goals, 11. You're still a child. Stan Mikita played, the great Stan Mikita, bless his heart, 9 All-Star games. Patrick has played in 8 already, not counting the Young Stars game before the 2008 All-Star game, when he scored twice en route to the Calder Trophy as best rookie in the NHL. One of these goals was the one against Calgary. Did you see it there? It's a gray, ugly January Monday night. Everybody in Chicago is pissed because the Bears just got knocked out of the playoff. And this guy lit it up with that unbelievable goal against David Riddick. Yep. What do you recall about that?
Well, that was a heck of an introduction there.
Well, you wrote it.
I think we got about 10 minutes left there. So.
You told me to kill 10 minutes.
You know, the one that kind of sticks out to me was that the playoff goals one, the game-winning goals in the playoffs with 11. But it'd be nice to get back there and kind of keep building on that number. So. But yeah, back to your question about that goal against Calgary. Just kind of coming up the wing with some speed, and saw there was a puck battle, and Anisimov did a good job of just kind of like whacking it to me. It was a little bit behind me, so obviously I wanted to keep my speed going into to the net, and just had to like touch it up through my legs, and caught it on my backhand. Just kind of took a look up and saw there was maybe a little bit of a spot there to shoot it on my backhand, and
there.
What's up, buddy?
Look who's here.
Hey, sorry.
Patrick's
Just
That's a
Patrick's
good
first
addition to
coach.
the panel.
figured he needs help, right? His old coach could help him.
We're talking about the goal against Calgary, the unbelievable.
Yeah, the roofer.
And I asked Dennis. Dennis could do one or two things with the puck, as you all know. And I asked Dennis after that goal that Patrick scored against Calgary, I said, did you ever do any, could you do that? And what did you say?
I said, it never crossed my mind to do what he does, especially in that situation. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it looks so easy for him to do, but as a player, I never crossed my mind, even to, on my backhand side or forehand side, even go upstairs short side. And, you know, because the goalies in today's game, and Kane always, obviously, you know, a great player that he is, he always skates with his head up. And a lot of goalies will just kind of start moving down as the angle gets worse and worse. And I don't know, but he sees that. I don't know, he sees it. You could explain it to you guys, but I never, in my wildest dream, thought about even making that shot when I was playing. Really, really didn't. That's why I told Bob, I said, and Verdi, I said, no clue. So, but I can tell you that the first time he did the spinorama, I was doing TV.
Back to the spinorama.
I was doing. It's the only thing I got on him so far. But the first time he did it was against Dallas, and I was doing TV on Comcast. I was doing the analyst, you know, after between periods and stuff. And I texted him and I said, "Hey, great, good try," but I said the first one when I did, I scored, just so you know. But the most impressive one, forget about when he does it, is you guys remember the pass that he made to Haas on the spinorama? Do you remember that?
Show that. We're going to show that.
Yeah.
Hello, that's tough to do. I mean, just to have that thinking. And I know he's looking to put him in an area. He knows he's going there. But to make that play and, you know, just a tap in for us at the time was pretty remarkable. But we're lucky to have him. We all know that, right? I mean, we go to the games and watch Kane. I said,
Well, Patrick, I think it's fair to say you were lucky to have Savvy as your first coach, correct? I mean, you're a new kid in a big city, and I think you said you didn't have the greatest training camp for starters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I look back on that training camp, and I think most players probably, most players on that team probably thought that I wasn't ready for the NHL at that point in time. And the Blackhawks and Savvy kind of told me that, you know, you're probably going to get the 9 games. We'll see what you can do with the 9 games in the regular season. And if you perform well, then, you know, maybe we'll be able to keep you around. So, like I said, I was...
really? Right?
I was fortunate to have those 9 games because most kids would be, you know, getting sent back to junior, you know. So I remember before my first game, Savvy just kind of brought me in. We were in Minnesota, and there's one locker room where, you know, the team gets dressed, and then there's another locker room where it's like just an empty locker room. Savvy brought me in there and just kind of told me, like, hey, just go out there, play your game, don't think too much, you know, do what you do best out there. And that was kind of something I really needed to hear because, you know, you're coming into the NHL, you're probably thinking a lot about the game and how it's so much different than what you're used to in junior and what you're used to growing up. So he just told me to go out and play, and we ended up losing 1-0 that game, but played really well. Started to, you know, feel the puck, make plays, and just kind of that reassurance of confidence from him to just play the way I knew how to and the way I grew up playing really helped me. And yeah, I think after that it was pretty fun, you know. I think the next game we were at home, we were playing Detroit. We were down 3-1. We ended up tying it 3-3, go to overtime, go to a shootout, and Savvy's throwing me out there first as an 18-year-old kid against, you know, my childhood hero, who's Dominic Hasek, played for the Buffalo Sabres. I grew up in Buffalo. Grew up watching this guy, you know, winning Hart trophies and Vezina trophies, and here I am, my first home game in the NHL, going down on a shootout against Hasek. So it's a pretty cool moment for me, scoring that goal against Hasek, coming back to the bench. You see Savvy with a big smile on his face. Something I'll never forget. But he had that trust in us from that moment, the rest of the season, to go out and play. And even if we weren't playing that well, you know, he would give us some hard talks for sure, but didn't really cut into our ice time too much, or you know, let us go out there and kind of figure it out ourselves. So very fortunate to have that as an 18, 19-year-old kid.
All right, I'm done, right? You want to hear from me, not for me, but I got to do something else. But I just kind of came in to say hi to Kane and Verdi. So, inside all you folks. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, Savvy. Always good to see you, man.
keep going back to that goal against Calgary. That's the night you made eye contact with Mom and Dad. We want to, Mike, can you show this hockey card from way back when? It's somewhere on. Patrick is a youth. Where are we? Where's our video squad? Well, anyway.
They abandoned us. But yeah, just to kind of fill some time before that, back to that goal. Like I just saw it, like kind of picked up my head, saw the upper corner, and just you know, the shot was probably literally like 10, 15 miles an hour. You know, it was just like a little like flick up there, and just hit the spot perfect. And had them. I know my parents sit right there, so I had the moment with kind of looking at my dad, and you know, he's giving me the fist pumping and all excited and jacked up. But the point where I actually learned that shot, I broke my wrist when I was like 10 years old, and they put a cast on me, and my dad's like, "All right, we're still gonna play with the cast." So I couldn't shoot forehand with the cast on, so I really had to learn how to use my backhand. So that's how I scored a lot of goals those next 3-4 weeks, was shooting it with my backhand and like picking that top corner. So funny story, actually. We go back to the doctor. I get my cast off, all excited, thinking I can go back out, play hockey, and the doctor says, "Okay, we gotta let the wrist heal now with the cast off, and you're gonna have to take about 2 or 3 weeks off." My dad said, "Give me the cast back." So put the cast on, and I would tape it up before every game for the next couple of weeks and just continue working on my backhand. So that's credit to my backhand right there, but funny story.
How are we doing on the videos? Is our video department functioning here or what? I mean, we rehearsed this for a year. Where's Mike? He left the building. I'm going to read a commercial here. Training Camp Festival tickets
Good transition there.
are on sale now for $5. It'll be on Sunday, September 15th, the United Center. First 10,000 fans entering Training Camp Festival will receive a 2010 anniversary celebration.
A long time ago.
Patrick Kane bobblehead. Get your tickets here at the convention before they sell out. This upcoming season, the Blackhawks have announced over 25 game day giveaways, 5 2010 anniversary celebration nights, 3 third jersey nights, retro hat series, community nights, theme ticket offers, and more. Sign up today for a pre-sale ticket opportunity at blackhawks.com/presale. Single game tickets go on sale to the public Tuesday, August 20th at noon. All right. Mike? Where's Mike? Are we ready? How you doing, Patrick?
Actually, funny story about those bobbleheads. So
You've seen him already?
I haven't seen them, but they're like 2010 retro bobbleheads, right, or something?
More hair?
More on top, less on the side, right? So I think they have a Kane, a Taze, a Keith, Seabrook, and Hossa maybe. So Sharpie was all mad last night because he's not getting a 2010 retro bobblehead. I had 11 goals, 11 assists. I was plus 11. It's like, I'm leaving the convention right now. So if you guys see Sharpie, you got to give it to him a little bit.
What do you think of your pal Sharpie? He's a TV.
Yeah, he's pretty good on the TV, I think, yeah.
Did he want you to pass the puck to him in Philadelphia?
Yeah, so that's another funny story here.
I think first off, Brian Campbell had the puck, and I think he wanted to shoot it, but I was calling for it so loud that he had to pass it to me. And then I made my move and shot it, and ended up going in. Whatever happened. But so we're celebrating, we're all excited, and he comes up to me and goes, "Hey, I was open in the slot there." Dude, we just won the Stanley Cup. First time in 49 years for the Blackhawks.
Ryan Campbell got the only assist, right? And it seemed that only you and Sharp
Yeah.
knew the puck was in. Was
Yeah.
that-
And there's, I'm
right
sure
away.
there's people that saw it go in, but there's really no reaction, right? Like, I shot it, the puck went in, it hit the back pad, but there was no reaction from the fans, really, any of the players on the ice.
Well, it hit on.
Blackhawks on the bench, yeah, it just hit under and stayed there, so that's kind of why I celebrated like an idiot the way I did, and just threw my gloves all over the place because I wanted to actually sell that the puck was in the net, so.
Well, we have a video of that too, I think. Did they know this started at 10:30? Where's Mike? Is Mike anywhere? Please, Mike.
We can talk through the plays. Like I don't need the video if you.
No, yeah. Well, we have other goals we wanted to look at, but moving right along. All the guys who've been here for a while seem very excited about what's happened in the last few months.
Yeah.
I don't mean post missing the playoffs.
Yeah, I think. Well, you got to think we're going to be a better team, just from like a personnel-wise than we were last year. So I think that's really exciting. I think. I think the organization did a great job of making some moves that we needed. Bringing in some toughness, some grit, some guys that have they'll have defined roles going into the season next year of what their job is on the team. And then you bring back some energy with a guy like Shazi. Obviously be fun to have him back and. Kind of dealing with all the pranks he's pulling all the time and everything like that, but he's a fun kid to be around, and we got some good young prospects too with Kirby Doc and Boquist, and seems like maybe they'll maybe take a spot at training camp and cause some havoc. So be interesting to see how everything shakes out, but gotta like the position we're in headed to the next season.
Everybody talks about depth. I mean, you had a great year. Jonathan had a great year. What does it mean to you to have more depth on the roster? Is it less I think the coach said, if we don't have to lean on our top guys every night, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, I think as a top guy, you want to be leaned on every night. You want to play a lot of minutes, and you want to be the guy that's counted on to get it done every night. And I think that's just the competitors we are. But you look at every team that I've been a part of that's won, 2010, 13, and 15. All those teams had, so much depth and so many good players that could just produce and chip in at any time. So it was I look back at those playoff runs, it was someone new's chance to shine every night. So it's you're not counting on one or two guys. If they don't perform, then you don't have a chance. And I think that's kind of where we're heading with this roster right now.
Well, our video people, they don't start work until 11 in the morning. So we got the card, the hockey card. All right, now, this is a long time ago. Will you talk about it, Patrick?
You see that little guy up in the right-hand corner right there with the sitting on the guy's lap with the mustache right there. That's my dad and me. So. Yeah, I found that card when I was probably like, I don't know, maybe I was 4 or 5 in that picture, and found that card when I was like 10 years old, and now people call it like my official rookie card. Like that was my first card. So yeah, I signed autographs on those and seen those around a bunch in the past 5 to 10 years. So pretty cool though.
Your dad said that when you went to games, you would zero in on the warm-up, not even move. I mean, most kids go there to eat and drink and soda pop, I mean, and said you used to zero in on the warm-up, and then you used to stare at the stick rack. Mm-hmm. So you were really a hockey geek.
That was, well, I probably went to maybe like 20, 25 games a year when I was younger. And we would get there early. We would go to warm-ups, and I would sit behind the net in warm-ups and just kind of watch it. I would always, try to watch like the superstar player on the other team, whether it was like Paul Kariya or I remember my favorite was actually Alexei Yashin. He would put on a show in warm-ups, like stick handling fancy, kind of like interacting with the crowd, interacting with the fans. So I really liked that when I was younger. And then we would go up. I would always bring my mini stick and like a little like squishy ball, and I would go through the hallways and like try to like stick handle through people in and out. I'm like 8, 9 years old, like running through people, probably driving people crazy, like stick handling through them. And we would go play mini sticks in the hallway, like I'd meet up with a couple buddies there, or whatever. We'd play for until the first period was going to start. And my dad had a rule, like if he wasn't there, you always had to be in your seats on time to watch the game. So this one time, I didn't know that he was watching on TV, but you could see our seats were right behind the other team's bench. So I was like, oh, whatever, he's not going to know if I'm watching the game or not. So me and my buddies stayed in the hallways and played mini sticks the whole time. Got home that night, and he's like, you didn't show up to the second period till like 10 minutes left. Where were you? I was like, no, I was there. What? And he like rewinds back the TV. You see the seats. The seats are completely empty for 10 minutes. So, but yeah, it was really fun. I would go with my buddies. I'd go with my sisters. We always had a little routine. We'd get like nachos before the first period. We'd get pizza after the first period, and then ice cream before the third. Play mini sticks in the hallways, and then I was lucky enough to sit behind the other team's bench where I could see all the sticks on the rack and kind of listen in and hear what the coaches were saying to the players. Watch my favorite players all the time. So it's a pretty good way to grow up.
Did you know then that this is the only thing you wanted to do?
Not really. I just really enjoyed going to the games. Like, even now, I look back on my childhood, and it was a lot of hockey, and that's just the way I wanted it to be. I loved hockey. I loved being around it, whether it was going to the NHL games or being on the ice, being with my friends, trying to score goals or make a nice pass or have fun stick handling, things like that. So it was just something I just really, truly loved from a little kid.
Savvy talked about the pass you made to Hossa. I think we got that one, the number one video. Maybe. Black and white, anything?
Now Patrick Kane
Okay,
carries
here I
it
am.
in. Weaves in the middle with a spinorama center. Hossa, what a goal! A spinorama setup from Patrick Kane, and Hossa finished it. We're tied. He works himself into the middle of the ice. Everybody watching. Patrick Kane working on Tony Ludman. Look at Kane's head up. He sees where Hossa is to the left. He throws it to an area, and Big Hoss has a wide open net.
Hossa said that's probably the easiest goal he ever scored, thanks to you. We got another one here now. You're back in Buffalo putting on a show here. This is 2014. This is stupid what he does here. This is really. We got that? Number 2 on the list of favorites? Maybe? Please? Okay. Maybe I'll read that ticket ad again.
We can talk about the Spinorama goal or the pass.
Okay, all right.
Launched into the puck
All right.
by Patrick Sharp. He and Patrick Kane have a 2-on-1 break. Kane in over the line.
This is
Moves
not
it. He
it.
scored! His first
That's his
goal in
first-
the National Hockey
first goal.
League. Patrick Kane set up by Patrick Sharp. And the Hawks lead 3-0. We have seen Kane and Kane. Very nice.
That's your first goal, right?
Yeah, that's my first goal in the NHL. So
How about the guys on the ice?
yeah. Joe Sakic was on the ice when I scored that goal, and Sharpie will always remind me, like, hey, who set you up for your first goal?
That's sharp as.
So what else? Who sets you up for? He set me up for that goal. He set me up for my 20th goal in my first year. He set me up for my 100th goal. What else did he?
And he never let.
I don't know if he really set me up. Like his assists aren't really that great of assists, but like we call him. One time we were playing in St. Louis and we were on a power play and he got the puck and he's at the hash marks in our end and he throws it behind the net in our end and Brian Campbell picks it up, takes it down the ice, drops it to me and I come in and score. And he got an assist from like his own end, like this.
Oh.
So we call. From that point on, we called that like a typical Sharp assist. Like that's how he got his assist. But.
What else have we got? Do we have the one where Patrick throws the puck? Continues his. He had this amazing consecutive.
Oh yeah.
It is Little.
Is this it? Good play.
Ryan Little.
Oh, there you go.
And loose, gloved in by Kane. He got it to Panarin, and he's going to score to the empty net. Patrick Kane has just picked up an assist.
Talk about strange assists.
No Blackhawk in the history of the
That was your,
You had to play that one right after that story. Eh?
That was your. Hey, I'm not in charge of the video department. You know that. That was an amazing year for you, your MVP year, and you were trying to keep a streak going at 20. That was 22, right?
I think that was that was 22. So that was to
En route
I think
to
break Bobby Hull's franchise record. I think he had it of 21 games. So that's how I got it on a hand pass assist like that. But it was funny after because Breadman scores a goal and he's pointing at me. His English isn't very good, but he's like, assist. And then we're skating back to the bench or whatever, like after the goal, and he kind of like leans in my ears and he goes, "F you, Bobby Hull." You got another reading over there? Or?
What about we got the Spinorama versus Dallas? This is crazy too.
Yeah.
To the zone.
All right.
Patrick
No, this
Kane,
is
a
not.
Spinorama backhand, he scores! Patrick Kane putting on a show on St. Patty's weekend for Savoir Faire, and it's 8-1.
7-1, and you're just pouring it on.
And
Now,
no
did-
waiting, releasing that shot.
You don't really see the net at all here, do you?
I think you just kind of have an idea of where you're at on the ice, and you're just kind of shooting it to an area as well. But it's actually a true story what Savvy was saying. Like I was trying it a lot, and I wasn't scoring on it. And he said, "Hey, just stick with it, keep with it. It's going to happen sooner or later." And no joke, like 2 days later, that goal happened. So the old text from Savvy got me to stick with the Spinorama.
Now the guy in Dallas who you turned around, the defenseman, he's trying to make the team. Do you ever go back to the bench and like almost feel sorry for these guys that you?
I think they have their way with me sometimes too. So it's like you got to take what you can get out there, you know.
But I mean, you make people look foolish sometimes. What about the?
It's part of the game, right? It's part of the entertainment factor. I think that's, you want to keep you guys and the fans entertained out there. So that's always in the back of my mind, to be honest with you, is to not really like, obviously you're trying to play the game and do the right things for the team, but you got to have fun out there. You got to have a little showmanship sometimes, whether it's, the excitement with the celebrations or making a nice move or a nice pass and just kind of enjoying the game while you're out there.
There we had the first showtime, and then this is what, Heartbreaker?
Yeah. You got the video, or is that just?
I think we better just talk about these things. What about number 6? This is crazy. This is not fair. This one against Montreal, we are doing the Superman thing. How are we doing there? Number 6, please, which comes after 5. Okay, watch it. Now this is. Pacioretty is all over you, right?
Yeah. I think there's actually going to be a penalty on the play, but
right.
I pulled up to my backhand and it was kind of getting tripped up and falling down, and the puck just laid perfectly on my forehand while I was like in the air there. So I just kind of flipped it up and saw it go in the net. It was a pretty fun goal to score.
Missing the playoffs is not fun, but it's also afforded you the opportunity to play for your country. And I think you've enjoyed that, haven't you? And you'd rather be in the playoffs, obviously, but...
Yeah, it's been amazing. I think just going over there and playing with some different players and got to wear the captaincy both times there, so... Maybe we should figure it out here and change the captaincy here. Give me the seat instead of Taylor.
Well, you said you never wanted to wear. You didn't think you were right for the C, and I after you did it for the USA, and I asked you, but you wore the C there, and you said, well, yeah, but that was only for 2 weeks. That was like. That was like your limit?
No, it's a great honor to represent your country, and then obviously be a captain was amazing as well. To be honest with you, it's just fun to go over there and play like a few more weeks of hockey. You're kind of disappointed the season's over. So just fun to get over there, play on the big ice. It was fun to develop some chemistry with the Brinkat over there the past couple of years. So good playing with him, good playing with different players. But yeah, I think we're obviously well represented in Chicago with our captains, with obviously Taser and Dunks and Siebes. Those guys have been amazing leaders for a long time, and I consider myself part of that leadership group now. And even though I don't wear a letter, it's like if we have discussions, it's usually us four, and we talk about what we need to talk about, and. Usually, if one of those guys aren't playing, then I'll get an A on my sweater. But yeah, I think we're very fortunate and blessed of the leadership we have here in Chicago.
One thing the Hall of Famer who just left, and Bobby Hull, who I know you're fond of, you all grasped the fact that this is entertainment. You're in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
You're showbiz, whatever you want. Yeah. And you express that on the ice. I mean, he's fun to watch, right? And he
Thank you.
You want to entertain.
Yeah. Showtime, right?
Yeah. break your heart. Okay. One more video, maybe. Cup clincher. Philadelphia, 2010.
So obviously what sticks out to you there is like everyone's reaction. When I'm going to the goalie, everyone's like coming with me and celebrating with me, but they're not really convinced, right? Like they're still looking back at the ref and the net to see what's going on, if the goal was actually a goal, if not. So
It's a good thing you were right.
I'm telling you, I've had bad dreams where I'm like, that puck doesn't go in, and I'm throwing my equipment off, and like, it's like you're naked out there.
But now, the puck went under the pad.
Yeah.
So, but you actually you didn't see it go in the net. You saw it.
Well, yeah, I saw it go right through his legs, and then just kind of hit the padding and stick and stay there, right? So like after that, like I said, there was no reaction. So I just like, I don't know why I did it, but it was just kind of like second nature and like instinctive to just throw my gloves off and celebrate and try to sell that the puck was actually in the net. So, and then I watched the replay again, and I don't really think Sharpie was that open in the slot.
I'm sure you've watched replays of it, and I don't know any broadcasters. I think John had it, right? Because he was down. He had the best angle, John and Troy on radio. But I mean, Hall of Fame broadcasters, Doc Emmerich,
I know.
didn't know it.
Yeah.
In CBC, they didn't. It's really strange. A strange ending to.
Yeah, it was a strange finish. I mean, you mentioned that. Like, I think Doc Emmerich was saying like the puck went around the boards and then it's in. Like, you know.
Yeah. How did it go from the boards in?
Yeah. So it's like, but I guess.
John Weideman, I think John and Troy had it because I remember them saying that in the press box in Philly they were sort of toward that end.
I think Troy knew it was in right away, so he might have nudged Johnny Wyman and said, "Hey, puck's in the net there. Make sure you tell the whole world there."
Patrick is throwing his gloves off. Do we have any questions? Where's it? No, are they on vacation too here? Or what? Questions? There we go.
Maybe they come up on that video screen or something.
Yeah, we'll put them. Yeah, we're gonna put your questions on the video. We'll get back to you in a week. Dear Patrick, will you marry me? No, we can't.
Is that from you or is that from...
Monty wants to know, what is your favorite sport besides hockey?
I think growing up, it was probably basketball. I played basketball a lot when I was younger, and now in the off season, I like to golf a lot. So, kind of into golf more than anything else right now.
Oh wow, this is good. Matt Starr wants to know, if not hockey, what would you be doing for a career? Right.
I think I would have been like a video technician or something like that.
Lots of openings. Thomas Gaudio, I hope I'm pronouncing it. What was it like? Everybody loved Host, huh?
Yeah.
What was it like to play? He was the real pro.
Yeah. It's like just an amazing human being. I think obviously he played the game like the right way. Like, I mean, if you're a coach, you'd love the way he plays because he works so hard defensively and he's so good offensively. He scored over 500 goals. But I was very fortunate and lucky to sit next to him for about 4 or 5 years in Chicago in the locker room, and just had a great time with him every day. Like, he was really fun to be around, always happy. You know, and in the NHL, you're going to have bad days, but it never really seemed like he had one. You know, he was always lifting up other guys on the team and making sure kind of everyone was good before himself. And then he took care of business the way he had to, obviously on the ice as well. But we definitely miss him. The last couple of years, not making the playoffs, I think was a big reason that because he wasn't around with us, and we miss that presence. We miss the way he played, obviously. But yeah, it's sad not to have him around anymore. But
still, you know, an unbelievable career, unbelievable player for the Blackhawks when he was here. And I don't know if we win any Stanley Cups without him.
What registered with you when the Blackhawks signed Hossa? I mean, you came here and it wasn't all strawberries and ice cream. It was tough for a while, right? I mean, you might have played before a crowd about this big, you know?
I remember my first game at the United Center was preseason, and I actually wasn't playing that game. And there might have been like 2,000 or 3,000 people in the crowd, and I actually went up in the crowd at the United Center and watched the game from the stands. So I don't know if I'd be able to do that today, but
Well, now you got security here, Brian. I mean, so what
people probably recognize him more than me.
he gets a lot of TV time. So he signs as a free agent. It's a landmark, kind of a landmark moment for the new regime, isn't it? That they're going out and making this huge signing of a, you know, top player.
Yeah. Well, and don't forget the year before, you know, they went out and signed Hugh and Brian Campbell. So you knew that the Hawks were going to go for it and do whatever they could to win. And then obviously the next year getting Hossa was, like you said, a landmark signing. Like all of a sudden, you know, with that signing right there, yeah, we made it to the conference final the year before, but with that signing, it was like all of a sudden you're a cup contender.
Do we have the Kane Austin Matthews opening night? Is that accurate? Do we have that?
Patrick Kane.
Oh, this is fun. You remember this? This is.
Loose puck in front of the net. Score! Austin Matthews. With 1:02 to go, the Maple Leafs are back in front, 6-5. Yoki Haru across
You can't teach that. That's just show. That goes back to what we're talking about. I mean, it's supposed to be fun, right?
Yeah.
And you guys texted afterward?
Yeah, so we work with the same skills coach, and we always skate with each other for like 4 or 5 days right before the season. So got to know him pretty well from that. But he put us in like a group text with our skills coach, and he was just saying that's like amazing, that's great for the game, and we didn't really have anything to say about it, just like just kind of laughing at what happened. So
It's great.
Yeah, like you said, it's good for the game to have those type of moments, you know, like especially him being like a young American kid. He's going to be a great player for a long time, maybe the next face of American hockey, and I've been there for a little bit as well, so it's like, I don't want to say passing of the torch because I think I'm there for a little bit longer, but fun to have that moment with him.
Joel Hester is here from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Wow. What are the challenges to opening the season in Europe, which you will do next October?
Well, last time we did it, we ended up winning the Stanley Cup that year. So look back on that. We were in Switzerland and Finland that year, and it was a lot of fun. Get to bond with your teammates. Obviously, the flight's a little bit longer, but you know, this year we're going to Berlin and in the Czech Republic. So I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be good to kind of do something different and get ourselves ready for the season as best we can. So obviously there's challenges of, you know, the travel and, you know, I think our last preseason game is against a team in Germany, and then we only play one game over there against Philly, and you're right back. But it'll be a nice way to start the season. And then I think in October we have like 7 straight home games or something. So be looking for your fans to be at a lot of those games cheering us on and get us off to a good start this year.
That's not the best schedule in the world either, is it? 7 in a row?
Well, love playing at the United Center, so why not play as many as you can in a row there and get yourself off to a good start, like I said. And I think we got a couple longer road trips this year, but I think the schedule looks pretty decent compared to last year. Last year was a tough year for us schedule-wise. Seems like we were always playing like 1 or 2 at home, and then you go on the road for 2.
A lot of trip.
A lot of travel, a lot of just different trips instead of having 2 or 3 or 4 games in one road trip. So looks like the schedule will be better for us this year.
Joel also wants to know what's your favorite restaurant. I'm sure you pay. Favorite restaurant in Chicago? I'm sure you pay for a lot of meals.
There's probably 2. I like to go to Nomi in the Park Hyatt for sushi, and then our other favorite restaurant is this place called Oriole. So
I can't afford it. So
maybe
don't
I'll
look
take
at
you
me.
there. I'll take you there sometime, Bob.
Shauna, Ottawa, Canada. What is your karaoke go-to song? Do you have one?
Oh yeah. My go-to has been "Free Falling" by Tom Petty since I've been like 18, 19 years old. So we used to go there. We used to go to Stanley's on Sunday nights after the games and sing. Well, I would always sing karaoke. I don't think anyone else really would, but that's kind of where I got my go-to song there.
And she also wants to know what is your get fired up song? Is that the?
Yeah, I don't know. There's been times where like usually my music changes like all the time. Like I'll listen to rap. I'll listen to like EDM music. I'll listen to a bunch of different stuff. But it's not like I have one go-to song or anything. Just kind of switch it up as it goes along. So.
You don't like country, do you?
I don't mind country actually, but I don't really listen to it that much. So yeah, I guess that would mean I really don't like it. But
Remember asking Jomerson about country music. He says it's always so sad. He says the guy always leaves the girl and the dog always dies. The poor guy from Sweden. He comes over here. And he says. We're going to have to wrap up here soon. When you look back at your whole career has been amazing, but when you came here and as you say, you could have sat in the stands by yourself and not been recognized, and now hockey's so big, this convention,
yeah,
every night at the United Center is an event. And certainly you've been a big part of it, but do you ever pinch yourself and say, wow?
Well, definitely feel very fortunate. I know that when you're 18 years old and you're getting drafted, you're not really worried about the team you're getting selected to. You just want to go as high as you can. And luckily enough, I went as high as I could, first overall, and Chicago had that pick. And I just remember coming to the city the first time I came, I threw the pitch at the Cubs game and sang the 7th inning stretch actually with Savvy, and was just kind of like overwhelmed by the city. There were so many people, the traffic, and I'm from like a small town in Buffalo, so it was so different for me. And here we are 12, 13 years later, and couldn't imagine playing anywhere else. Love being in Chicago. I would call Chicago home now. It's where I spend my summers. And the organization's been unbelievable. My teammates have been unbelievable. You guys as fans have had my back forever, which I truly appreciate, and love that about you guys. And we won 3 Stanley Cups, so it's like I think we're at the point where we're fortunate, we're happy, but I always say never satisfied. So let's keep this thing going. Let's get better as fans. Let's get better as players. You know, I want to improve myself and hopefully win a couple more.
How about the road games too? It's like
Yeah, I mean, it's like sometimes, you know, you're playing on the road and it's like you're expected to be like cheered against on the road. And we always have so many Blackhawks fans that it's so amazing playing on the road. You know, you go to cities like, I mean, what did Nashville or St. Louis say? Like, you can't buy tickets unless like you're from a certain area code because there's so many red jerseys in there all the time. So shows how much better our fans are than theirs, right?
Well, Dennis Savard, who was here before, of course, one of the reasons he was drafted number 3 instead of number 1 was because he was too small, and he's in the Hall of Fame. And I think you went through the too small stage too,
Yeah.
the labels, and you're going to the Hall of Fame too.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I appreciate that. Those are nice words. You know, obviously Bob's, for me, has been the best media guy to always talk to. It's actually like talking to a real person and not like just giving interviews. But he's a great human being, great guy. Obviously, unbelievable ambassador for the game, and special for me to be up here with you, man.
Oh, I bet it's the thrill of your life. He's the best, isn't he?